All right, so here's an ad. Eugene Schwartz, fantastic new rose, a way to make your flowers grow like crazy. So there's, this is kind of a very large space ad, but basically there's a headline, the subhead, the introduction, all this kind of stuff, and then there's a section here where if you read this little subhead, it says scientists formula shoots fantastic growing power into plants instantly. This is where he creates a separate section to let people know, okay, I'm about to explain to you the science behind this or how this works. So here's the introductory paragraph. Here's the column going down. Here's the next column, proof, column going down, and here's another subhead to the subhead. Why won't flowers grow in my backyard? Let me just make this bigger. I don't want to read all this stuff to you, but basically it says here, science tells us that almost 90% of all garden soils are deficient in some degree in at least one of the 10 vital minerals a plant needs to bloom and flourish. And if you starve a plant of even one of the life-giving soil minerals it needs for rich green foliage, heavily branching, and vigorous, healthy roots, you won't get many flowers, no matter how many blah, 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 blah. So he talks about how there's these mineral deficiencies causing plants not to grow. So it's not your fault. It's not your fault because it says here in the beginning, I guess I just haven't got a green thumb. Ever said that to yourself? Well, wouldn't you believe it? If flowers won't grow for you, no matter how hard you try, then in case after case, it's been proven that your soil is to blame. Why? Science tells us. Then you see, so now it takes the person off the hook, shows a new cause. And then it goes all the way down this column, goes up the column, more proof and believability. Then he goes to the new subhead. Your beautiful garden for a few pennies. It means that RX-15 can help you grow thick green lawn, yada yada, for the very first time, and it will only cost you blah blah blah. It means that you can grow hundreds of flowers in your window boxes, grow thousands of yada 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 yada. Oh, here he goes. And because RX-15 instantly feeds plants the 10 life-giving soil minerals they need for a healthy bloom. Okay, so there you go. So that's like the new mechanism this product has. It's a concept. Oh, this product is not just a product. It's something that has these minerals, and that solves the problem of why my plants aren't growing, which isn't me. It's because it's lacking these minerals. So that's an example right there. Okay, here's another one. This is John Carlton's really famous ad. Amazing one-legged golfer. A lot of his ads are all just about how to hit a ball really far and really straight, really accurately. So, it's a one-legged golfer hits ball really far. That's the beginning part is all here. And the author is talking about how amazing his golf swing is now. But this is where he gets into the mechanism. Now, he doesn't go into the cause. He just goes straight into the mechanism here. Now, he just got done saying how good his swing is now, his golf swing is. Then he goes, but it's not magic at all. My new golf swing. It's what I learned from so-and-so, and it has nothing to do with me and everything to do with the amazing new swing he developed. He calls it the triple coil swing. So what is that? That's a name. He gave it a name. And he got the idea for it, and he tells a story about how the guy who taught it to him was watching a one-legged man tee up and hit a ball really straight and really far, and he was blown away. But how can a one-legged guy hit a ball so far? And he learned something from that experience, which is you don't have to be a big, strong guy to hit a ball far. You need to have, amazing balance. And there's a certain way you need to swing, and it's called the triple coil swing. And that's it. That's the mechanism. And you remember how I told you how a name carries the weight of the entire explanation or story behind the name? Look at what he does now. Now, Carlton's one of the most dense writers. He uses it again here, triple coil swing. The triple coil swing Milt developed after watching his one-legged triple coil swing. Talks about it again. You're going to learn the triple coil swing. Here it is again, triple coil swing. Okay, so he uses that because now he's created a lot of emotional power behind that phrase. Here's another thing. And even in the close, he's saying, yeah, when you buy this now, you'll get the triple coil swing. So that's this is a good example of using a new mechanism, using believability through the use of a story, and then using a name. Okay, here's another ad that did really well for Gary Halbert. And keep in mind, I can go through literally hundreds of breakthrough ads, and you'll find these things in there all the time. Okay, so I highlighted, this is basically an ad, open letter to every attractive woman in Miami who's serious about having a career as a professional model. The customer, it's one customer, really easy to identify. The problem and the pain point, really easy. Wants a glamorous life as a model. Simple. It's right there. The entire beginning here is really just a lot of syllogism. If you do a search for hype or no hype, you'll see me talking about syllogism there. But he goes into here are the things that you need in order to be a model. And then he talks about at the bottom of the ad, at the bottom of the things, the list, he gives the criteria of being a top model. As he says, you need luck. And then there's another thing you need exposure. So here's the part where he talks about exposure. Let me make it bigger. Top models know it's not enough to have exceptional beauty and to be extremely photogenic. They know you must also have exposure. So he does this huge build up to this point where he says, here's the cause of the problem is you don't have enough exposure. Okay. Now he does this setup. Now everything he says after that, between there and where he introduces the new mechanism, he's building a case why lots of people who are not model prototypes, lots of women who are not model prototypes can now be a model. And he explains this. He says you don't have to be a rail to have a successful modeling career. And he talks about how businesses are suffering with their advertising because they can't make use of glamour and sex appeal. And it doesn't you don't need a top fashion model type of appearance. You can have an average person who's photogenic, and that will increase their profits tremendously. So that's all he's talking about, this whole thing here. And then that leads to this, the mechanism. Here's the best news of it all. As you probably know, South Miami Beach is the most exciting place on earth. It's rapidly becoming the center of the universe, yada, yada, yada. Then he goes here. Now check this out. There's a new publication called Charisma. So there's a name being published directly from South Beach. The Charisma offices are located in the building next to yada, yada. Anyway, Charisma is a monthly newsletter which carries absolutely no advertising. And it goes out to all 50 states, 39 countries. This is not a free newsletter. Business owners and advertising agencies pay serious money and subscribe to it. What Charisma does, see, now he's using the name Charisma instead of the mechanism, is we publish photos and details about the most exciting new models we can find. When one of our subscribers sees and reads about a model in our publication and then decides she is right for his advertising, the subscriber will call us directly. We will then tell him how to contact the model or her rep or her agency. So there's the mechanism. Now, until everything in this sales letter that is not those two things I showed you is basically proof and believability. You have the obligatory introduction and you have the obligatory close, but everything else is really just a setup for those two things. So, that's just another example. Eugene Schwartz's Burn Disease Out of Your Body, it pulled for 20 years. It's one of the longest running controls in history. And if you go in there, you'll see that he has a new cause for disease and a new mechanism that rids a person of disease. Very brilliant the way he did it there. And, again, that pulled for 20 years. And it was because of the idea. He created a new idea. And you'll notice in all these sales letters that were breakthrough ads, there's not a heavy emphasis on the developer or the personality of the program owner. It's really on a concept. It's a big idea that they came up with. It's a hook. And they added those elements of a new cause and a new mechanism. They put it together. And everything else was really a clever way of building believability around those two things.